Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next hour. New Delhi hosts Germany's foreign minister. Berlin pledges to put its full weight behind FTA negotiations between India and the European Union. Prime Minister Modi meets innovators on day 2 of Semicon 2025 in New Delhi, examines a nano chip, calls for resilient semiconductor ecosystem. Finance Minister Sitharaman chairs the 56th GST Council meeting in New Delhi. The Council deliberates on India's next generation goods and services tax reforms. Cabinet approves a $170 million incentive scheme to promote critical mineral recycling in the country. And President Putin of Russia says he is ready to meet Ukraine's President Zelenskyy in Moscow, adds that an invitation is on the table for US President Donald Trump to visit Russia. Prime Minister Modi visited a semiconductor industry event in New Delhi on Wednesday, where he saw India's capabilities in chip manufacturing, nano chip production and advanced assembly. From Micron to Delta and Keynes to Lam research, the Prime Minister explored cutting-edge technologies that are set to power defense, aerospace and electric mobility. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports.
Day 2 of Semicon India 2025 began on a spectacular note, with exhibitors showcasing the future of chip technology. Prime Minister Narendra Modi toured the exhibition halls, witnessing firsthand the process of chip manufacturing, nano chip production and advanced assembly taking shape right here in India. He also explored the innovations of global leaders including Micron, Delta, Keynes and Lam research, with industry efforts sharply focused on next-generation chips for defense, aerospace and electric vehicles. India today stands at the cusp of a semiconductor revolution. Industry voices echoed this optimism.
Lam is the global leader for making equipment and provide services to help our customers who are the leading chip fabs in the world. Prime Minister was fully engaged. When he first came in, he said, I'm here as a student and I would like to learn. So we spent time explaining the process to him. He's always been very engaging. He wants to learn. When he talks to you, he's paying full attention.
Our project was approved last September 2024. In a record 6 months' time, we put our first facility up, and in a record next month, by first week of October, we will give the production of the products to our customer, Alpha Omega Semiconductor.
Exhibitors from Singapore, Malaysia and South Korea added an international edge, presenting cutting-edge semiconductor components. With over 350 companies from 33 countries, this 4th edition of Semicon India has become the largest ever, drawing a record number of global stakeholders.
We can see the opportunities with the investments that the government of India is putting in. India has one of the strongest GDP growth rate of any country in the world. And it is one of the largest countries in the world, and these are all common facts. And therefore, it has very high potential to support the next bound of technology development, for which semiconductors industry is actually the fundamental ingredient.
With 10 semiconductor plants already approved and 20 chips designed domestically, the country is well on its way to becoming a top 5 semiconductor hub by 2032. With Akshay Dongre, Tapas Bhattacharya's report, DD India.
Now, India has undergone significant transformation in the semiconductor sector, and this change is becoming increasingly visible to the rest of the world. The country is emerging as fertile ground for a massive semiconductor revolution. DD India speaks to semiconductor startup leaders who showcase their products at Semicon India 2025. Take a listen.
Today, Honorable Prime Minister visited our booth. It was a very landmark moment for all of us actually. We had 5 handpicked and chosen startups. Those demonstrated their products and solutions and innovations. It's quite interesting actually that Honorable Prime Minister is so engaging and very curious. So while we were explaining the demo, he was really trying to connect immediately, not only with how our strategic sector is going to get benefit, but also looking at the consumers. For example, he told us that when you are making the smart meters, which was one of the chip, his view is the end consumers and farmers, they think the smart meter is not going to help them, but we are going to charge them more for the billing. And then we took action item that will work out as how do we promote this concept so that the consumers realize and they understand and appreciate the benefit, what technology can provide them, including the power reduction or energy consumption reduction, how it can happen for a high performance.
Very specifically focusing here onto the Yashobhumi is more onto the digital twin technology. And why digital twin technology is so important, because you can have virtually you can visualize how your factory is going to look like, how your process is going to be performed, and on top of that, how important is your equipment basically, and how the equipment is basically going to give the error-free output, whatever you are making, especially onto the chip side.
The foreign ministers of India and Germany held talks in New Delhi on Wednesday. The Indian side values the understanding that Germany has shown with regard to India's fight against terrorism. The ministers review the global situation, including the Indo-Pacific and the conflicts in Ukraine and West Asia. DD India's Debyendu Mondal has more.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and German Foreign Minister John Wattfull, while addressing the media on Wednesday, said that their discussion focused on strengthening bilateral ties, expanding strategic cooperation, and tackling global challenges together.
Our two-way trade last year was almost 50 billion euros. Minister Wattfull is on record. I saw one of his interviews where he said that he was very confident we will be doubling our trade. Let me assure him that India fully reciprocates that sentiment. It looks forward to working with the government, with the German government. And I want to reiterate that we remain fully committed to continuously improving the ease of doing business in this country. And I assured the minister today that any concerns that German companies may have in India, coming to India, establishing themselves, working here, we would be prepared to give it special attention.
The German Foreign Minister underlined that India, as the world's largest democracy and a rising economic power, holds a strategic role in the Indo-German relations. The German Foreign Minister also highlighted the growing presence of Indian students in Germany, adding that his country values the contribution of the skilled Indian workforce and looks forward to expanding such opportunities further.
We both also agreed that we want to create more opportunities for Indian skilled labour and students who aim to come to Germany. We have almost 60,000 Indian students in Germany, which makes them already today the largest group of international students in Germany. Many of them choose to stay, because we urgently need highly skilled and highly qualified labour. With our strategy on highly skilled labour in India, we already support the area of getting these talents to come to Germany. It's already now a genuine success story. Indian skilled workers in Germany are successful in their jobs and show above average integration. They are an asset for the German labour market.
The two-day visit of the German Foreign Minister to India is being seen as a success, with constructive dialogues and negotiations laying the foundation for even deeper ties. India and Germany shares a long-standing history of bilateral cooperation and this visit is expected to further strengthen the partnership between the two nations. Bureau Report, DD India.
The German minister called on Prime Minister Modi. In a post on X, the Prime Minister said that as vibrant democracies and leading economies, there is immense potential to scale up mutually beneficial cooperation in trade, technology, innovation, sustainability, manufacturing and mobility. He said that India and Germany share a vision for a multipolar world, peace and UN reforms. He reiterated his invitation to Germany's Chancellor for an early visit to India. Now, India is seeking alternative markets in response to the imposition of tariffs on Indian products in the US. Following a free trade agreement with the UK, a similar agreement with the European Union is anticipated in the coming months. An EU trade delegation is expected to visit India this month for the 13th round of talks. Visiting German Foreign Minister reaffirmed Germany's commitment to finalizing an India-EU FTA at the earliest. DD India's Dheeraj Das has more.
A free trade agreement with European Union could be expected in coming months as EU's trade delegation is scheduled to visit India this month for the 13th round of negotiations. German Foreign Minister Johann Wedful, who met External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal in New Delhi on Wednesday, reaffirmed Germany's support to conclude India-EU FTA at the earliest.
Germany strongly supports the EU-India Free Trade Agreement, and we hope that this can be speedily negotiated so that it can be concluded before the end of this year, in autumn this year, and hopefully lead to a ratification process.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar appreciated Germany's push for expediting the free trade agreement negotiations with the European Union.
It will certainly be insightful for us to hear from you Germany's perspectives on key global and regional issues. We count on your support to deepen our relationship with the European Union and expedite the FTA negotiations. India and Germany have a strong history of multilateral cooperation, which I'm confident will be further advanced through our talks today.
Earlier, India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said FTA negotiations between India and the EU are in an advanced stage as the two sides are making significant progress.
We have reached a very advanced stage in our FTA with the European Union. Commerce Secretary, as we speak, is in meetings in Brussels with his counterpart, the DG of EU. Their team is coming down later this week and will be in active negotiation with us. The Minister, Trade Commissioner, Mr. Maros Srkovic, is coming down on 12th of this month, and we are making very active and significant progress.
The EU was the largest trading partner of India for goods, with the trade being $137.41 billion in 2023-24. India is EU's ninth largest trading partner, accounting for 2.4% of the total EU's trade. Trade between India and the European Union has grown by around 90% in the past decade. Some 6,000 European companies are present in India. The European Union is one of the world's largest trading blocs, and the FTA is a significant step to strengthen economic ties on both sides. The agreement will reduce trade barriers, enhance market access, and create new opportunities for businesses. Dheeraj Das's report for DD India.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. US President Trump accuses President Xi of China of conspiring against his country. Russia's President Putin thanks North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un for sending troops to fight alongside Russian soldiers against Ukraine. And quake hit Afghanistan deploys commandos to pull survivors from the rubble.
geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. The cabinet chaired by Prime Minister Modi on Wednesday approved a 1,500 crore rupee incentive scheme to develop recycling capacity in the country for the separation and production of critical minerals from secondary sources. This scheme is part of the National Critical Mineral Mission, which is aimed at building the domestic capacity of and supply chain resilience in critical minerals. The scheme will be applicable to investments in new units as well as expansion of capacity, modernization and diversification of existing units. The scheme will provide incentive for the recycling value chain, which is involved in actual extraction of critical minerals and not the value chain involved in only black mass production. The scheme will have a tenure of 6 years from FY 25-26 to FY 30-31. Expected beneficiaries will be both large established recyclers as well as small new recyclers, including startups, for whom 1/3 of the scheme outlay has been earmarked. And Prime Minister Modi has said that Cabinet's decision on critical mineral recycling will boost capacities to recycle battery waste. He wrote on X, and I quote, "This decision by the Union Cabinet pertaining to an incentive scheme to promote critical mineral recycling will boost capacities to recycle battery waste and e-waste, promote investment and encourage job creation," unquote. The 56th GST Council meeting began a two-day deliberations in New Delhi on Wednesday. It follows PM Modi's Independence Day speech in which he promised goods and services tax rate cuts. DD India's Tripti Tripathi looks at how from rate rationalization to ease of living, the new reforms aim to release the burden on people.
Chaired by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, the two-day GST Council meeting brings high expectations for next-generation GST reforms, including rationalization of tax rates and simplification of compliance.
हम नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जीएसटी रिफॉर्म्स लेकर के आ रहे हैं। ये दिवाली के अंदर आपके लिए तोहफा बन जाएंगे।
The GST Council meeting comes after PM Modi promised GST rate cuts in his Independence Day speech this year. PM Modi had underscored the importance of the next generation of reforms under GST, which will bring relief to the common man, farmers, middle class and MSMEs. The centre's proposal, described as a next generation reforms, is based on 3 pillars. Pillar 1 of structural reforms. It includes correcting inverted duty structures, resolving classification issues, and ensuring stability and predictability in GST policies. In Pillar 2, focus shifts to rate rationalization to eliminate the 12% and 28% GST slabs. Sharp rate cuts are proposed for many items, including white goods like air conditioners and televisions would be taxed at 18% instead of 28%. Fertilizer inputs and renewable energy products would see cuts from 18% and 12% to just 5%. Textile inputs would be taxed at 5% instead of 12%. Health and life insurance may be exempted from 18% of GST. Smaller cars would see rate cuts from 28% plus cess to 18%, while bigger cars and luxury vehicles would face 40%. Higher rates are planned for sin goods like tobacco, horse racing and lottery. Pillar 3 for ease of living. The reforms aims to simplify GST processes for registration, filing returns and refunds to reduce compliance burden and enhance taxpayer convenience. As many as 8 sectors are likely to benefit the most from the rate overhaul. These sectors are textile, fertilizer, renewable energy, automotive, handicrafts, agriculture, health and insurance. The new GST reforms would create a more transparent economic environment in the country. Tripta Tripaঠি's report for DD India.
The European Commission on Wednesday formally presented the EU-Mercosur trade deal for approval by member states, describing it as a major step to open markets and reduce reliance on US trade amid global tensions. The agreement with Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay, 25 years in the making, would create the world's largest free trade area, covering 700 million people. The deal includes significant tariff reductions on EU exports, such as cars and wine, and grants Mercosur countries greater access to the EU market for agricultural goods. France and others raised concerns about threats to EU farmers, prompting the Commission to include safeguards and a $1.1 billion reserve to support affected producers.
The Commission put forward proposals today for new deals with Mercosur and Mexico. Mercosur will be the EU's biggest trade deal to date, a free trade area with 700 million customers. This is a key trade pact and strategic step for European global influence.
US President Trump accused China's President Xi of conspiring against the US with the leaders of Russia and North Korea. The Russian president called the US president's remarks as his sense of humor.
As China's Xi Jinping, Russia's Vladimir Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong-un gathered in Beijing for China's Victory Day parade, US President Donald Trump accused them of conspiring against the United States. While the Beijing was celebrating its Victory Day to commemorate the surrender of Japan at the end of Second World War in 1945, US President took to Truth Social and said he expected Xi would acknowledge the sacrifices of American soldiers who fought in China during World War II. While sending his warmest regards, Trump wrote on Truth Social, "The big question to be answered is whether or not President Xi of China will mention the massive amount of support and blood that the United States of America gave to China in order to help it to secure its freedom from a very unfriendly foreign invader. Many Americans died in China's quest for victory and glory. I hope that they are rightfully honored and remembered for their bravery and sacrifice. May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great and lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America." While Russian President termed Trump's remarks as his sense of humor.
Well, the US President is not without humor. It's clear. We all know this well. I have a good relationship with him. We communicate with each other on a first-name basis. I can tell you, and I hope he will hear this too. As strange as it may seem, but during these 4 days of US-Russia summit in Alaska, during the most diverse negotiations, both informally and formally, no one has ever expressed any negative judgments about the current US administration.
Apart from the leaders from Russia and North Korea, the parade also saw the presence of 25 other heads of state in Beijing. Aman Kumar Himanshu's report for DD India.
As US President Trump threatened to send troops to more US cities, a judge blocked the Trump government from using the country's military to fight crime in the state of California. A San Francisco-based judge found that the Trump government willfully violated a law which sharply limits the use of the military for domestic enforcement by employing troops to control crowds and bolster US government agents during immigration and drug raids. The government deployed 4,000 soldiers and 700 reservists to the city of Los Angeles in June. Tuesday's ruling dealt a setback to Trump's push to broaden the role of the military on US soil, which critics say is a dangerous expansion of executive authority that could spark tensions between troops and ordinary citizens. President Trump said on Tuesday that he plans to send reservists to fight crime in the city of Chicago, but declined to offer a specific timing of the deployment. The city's mayor said over the weekend that his police will not collaborate with any reservists or U.S. government agents if President Trump deploys them to the city in the coming days, as he has threatened in the past.
I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors saying they need help. We'll help them. We have a lot of people. We have a great force. We have a great military force. You know,
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy visited Denmark on Wednesday to participate in a meeting with Nordic and Baltic leaders. Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen will host a meeting in Copenhagen. President Zelenskyy is expected to press for stronger pressure on Moscow after Russian forces launched a sweeping air attack on Ukraine overnight, damaging energy and transport infrastructure. Is also planning to have bilateral meetings in France on Wednesday.
And now we see another build-up of Russian forces in certain sectors of the front. Only he refuses in any way to be forced into peace. Russia continues to launch strikes. Of course, we will respond to this. Respond asymmetrically, in particular so that Russia clearly feels the consequences of its brazenness. And we continue to work with partners to increase pressure on Russia, and this will happen. Russia hears nothing but force and will continue lying until its losses are strong enough.
Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Wednesday that he is open to ending the war in Ukraine through negotiations if common sense prevails, but warned he is prepared to use force if necessary. However, Putin reiterated his firm conditions, including Ukraine dropping NATO ambitions and ceding control over eastern regions such as Donbass. While open to meeting Ukraine's President Zelenskyy in Moscow, he questioned the legitimacy of Zelenskyy's presidency. President Putin made these remarks while addressing a press conference in Beijing.
Well, the US president is not without humor. It's clear. We all know this well. I have a good relationship with him. We communicate with each other on a first-name basis. I can tell you, and I hope he will hear this too, as strange as it may seem, but during these 4 days of US-Russia summit in Alaska, during the most diverse negotiations, both informally and formally, no one has ever expressed any negative judgments about the current US administration.
President Putin also said he is ready to meet with Ukraine's President Zelenskyy if Zelenskyy comes to Moscow.
By the way, US President Donald Trump asked me to hold such a meeting. I said this is possible. At the end of the day, if President Zelenskyy is ready, let him come to Moscow, and such a meeting will take place.
And Russia's President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday thanked North Korea's Kim Jong-un for helping Russia oust Ukrainian soldiers from the Kursk region, saying that they fought heroically. In a meeting with Kim in Beijing, Putin praised their country's trust and friendship. He said that sending the troops was the North Korean leader's idea. North Korea has become one of Russia's main allies since Moscow attacked Ukraine 3.5 years ago, sending thousands of soldiers and container loads of weapons to help the Kremlin push Ukraine's forces out of western Russia following Kiev's shock incursion last year. In quake hit Afghanistan, rescue and relief efforts continued on Wednesday as the country's military ramped up efforts to deliver food, shelter and medical supplies. Airdropped commandos have been deployed to pull survivors from the rubble of homes in mountainous areas. At least 1,400 were killed in the first earthquake of magnitude 6 on Sunday that ravaged the northeastern part of the country. A second quake of magnitude 5.5 on Tuesday caused panic and interrupted rescue efforts as it sent rocks sliding down mountains and cut off roads to villages in remote areas. India continues to extend its support to quake relief in Afghanistan. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar shared photographs on social media platform X of the 21 tons of humanitarian assistance sent to Afghanistan. The consignment included a wide range of relief materials, including basic necessities. The minister said that India would continue to monitor the situation and provide more assistance in the coming days. India had previously extended humanitarian aid to Afghanistan on Monday, including relief materials. India will continue to monitor the ground situation and send more humanitarian aid over the coming days. Still to come on DD India News Hour. An expert take on India-Germany relations as their foreign ministers hold talks in New Delhi. And Health Minister J.P. Nadda calls on Singapore's Prime Minister in New Delhi.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. A quick recap of the headlines. New Delhi hosts Germany's foreign minister. Berlin pledges to put its full weight behind FTA negotiations between India and the European Union. Prime Minister Modi meets innovators on day 2 of Semicon 2025 in New Delhi, examines a nano chip, calls for resilient semiconductor ecosystem. Finance Minister Sitharaman chairs the 56th GST Council meeting in New Delhi. The council deliberates on India's next generation goods and services tax reforms. Cabinet approves a $170 million incentive scheme to promote critical mineral recycling in the country. And President Putin of Russia says he is ready to meet Ukraine's President Zelenskyy in Moscow, adds that an invitation is on the table for US President Donald Trump to visit Russia. Right, going back to the top story, the foreign ministers of India and Germany meet in New Delhi. To know more about the state of play in India-Germany ties, we are now joined by Ms. Meera Shankar. Ms. Shankar is a former Indian ambassador to Germany. Mr. Shankar, welcome to DD India News Hour. Now, Minister Jaishankar says that Germany, as the largest country in the European Union, plays a central role in India's global calculations. He says predictability and consistency are the hallmarks of India-Germany relationship. In his own words, predictability today has a huge premium in global politics. How would you describe this relationship?
I would agree with what the External Affairs Minister said, because it's a relationship which has been on a very even keel across different coalition governments in Germany and across different governments in India. Germany is the engine, if you will, of the European economy, being the largest economy in Europe, and also a technical manufacturing powerhouse. For India, really, the relationship has had different dimensions. One is the cooperation on reform of the Security Council, where the two countries have worked together, both being potential candidates for a permanent membership of the Security Council in the group of 4. And also, I would say, a key area of cooperation has been the environmental and developmental partnership, or the green and developmental partnership that we have between Germany and India, under which Germany provides funding, by way of credit, loans, and grants for green projects in India. And that's been very helpful in terms of India's own reorientation of its energy basket towards a greater share of green and renewable energy.
Right.
A new area for cooperation is green hydrogen. And of course, in the area of education and labor mobility, we find that ties between India and Germany have been growing because Germany has been welcoming Indian skilled workers and Indian students. And now I think Indian students are perhaps the largest body of foreign students in Germany. A new element has been the strengthening of cooperation on security. The External Affairs Minister emphasized that Germany has been supportive of India on the issue of terrorism and India's right to self-defense or to, protect its interests from terrorist attacks. Also, I think Germany has participated now in some multilateral military exercises in India. And I think ThyssenKrupp and Mazagon Docks have signed a memorandum of understanding to jointly bid for production of submarines for the Indian Navy. So I think that this is an expanding basket. Of course, Germany's export control regulations were tight, and therefore I think that also provided some limitation to the kind of cooperation that could take place. But I understand that these may have been eased, as the External Affairs Minister said, and that would create a more conducive environment for stepping up such cooperation.
Ambassador Shankar, the German minister, for his part, praises India's growing role in technology. He says hosting the next AI summit reflects New Delhi's ambition to be among the global leaders. Is Germany seeing India in a more positive light? Has it always been the case, even in the second half of the 2000s when you served in Germany? Or is it a recent phenomenon attributable in part to India's rise as an economic powerhouse?
I would say that Germany under Chancellor Merkel took the decision to really have a strategic partnership with India. We actually began under Chancellor Schroeder, and this was stepped up with intergovernmental consultations on a whole of government basis, which started under Chancellor Merkel, where she would bring key members of her cabinet with her for consultations on all aspects of the relationship, a kind of comprehensive dialogue which Germany had with only one other partner, and that is Israel. So I think it's been a conscious decision because I think Germany's ties with China had become extremely strong in the economic field. And I think in Germany there was a recognition of the challenge that this might pose and the need to diversify. And India was seen as a reliable country with whom Germany could do business, an expanding market, a fellow democracy. And therefore, I think it's been a conscious decision of Germany to increase the partnership with India. For instance, when I was in Germany as ambassador, India was the partner country for the Frankfurt Book Fair. We were the partner country for the Berlin Tourism Bourse. We were the partner country for the Berlin Air Show. And each of these events was inaugurated by either Chancellor Merkel, including the Indian Pavilion with the Defense Minister on our side, and or the president of Germany. So I think there was a concerted focus to push the relationship with India. And also, I forgot to say the Hanover Industrial Fair.
Right.
We were the partner.
Indeed. Ambassador, since you refer to China, the ministers discuss about the Indo-Pacific too. A German minister says China's aggressive behavior in the Indo-Pacific is a concern for both Germany and India. Are Germany and India coordinating their activities in the Indo-Pacific? And if they are, is there scope for doing more?
I think there's scope for doing more, but Germany has not really had a footprint, much of a footprint in the Indo-Pacific. Their defense posture has been primarily concentrated on Eastern Europe, and there has been very little stomach for out-of-area operations, though they did send troops to Afghanistan as part of the US operations there. Now I think Germany is reassessing the Indo-Pacific and wanting to play a more active role here. So certainly we see that through the joint military exercises that have taken place, the naval visits by German ships to some of the Indian ports, and there's scope to do more. So I think that this is a beginning, but a lot of focus, I think, from Germany has been on internal developments in Europe, particularly Ukraine, before that on Brexit, and so on. So I think that the Indo-Pacific was not so high in priority till now. Now there may be some shift in the German position.
Okay, fair enough. In his joint press conference with Mr. Jaishankar in New Delhi, the German minister says that India equals Asia for Germany. Now, that would have come as music to New Delhi's ears. So should one see it as an acknowledgement or recognition of India's rising profile?
Yes, I think that Germany sees India as a very important partner in Asia because in some sense we are a stabilizing force. We are also a country with which Germany has had predictable and reliable relations.
Right.
And, we were amongst one of the first countries to establish diplomatic relations with Germany after the war. And Prime Minister Nehru also played an informal role in helping the release of German prisoners of war, which were then, from the Soviet Union. So, Konrad Adenauer actually acknowledged this. So it's been a relationship of long standing. But because of the Cold War, I think there were differences in approach and not much substance in the relationship till the reforms of 1991. And then we've seen a reassessment by both countries. They've worked together closely on the whole issue of UN reform. And I think that has strengthened the degree of trust and understanding between the two countries as well.
All right, we leave it there. Ambassador Shankar, thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts with our viewers in India and around the world. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Right, in other news, Singapore's Prime Minister Lawrence Wong is in India on a 3-day visit. It is Prime Minister Wong's first visit to India in his capacity as his country's Prime Minister. On Wednesday, he paid tribute to Mahatma Gandhi by laying a wreath at Rajghat. He will hold talks with Prime Minister Modi on Thursday. The two leaders will review the multifaceted cooperation between India and Singapore and set the path for future collaboration. They will also discuss about regional and international issues. The Singaporean leader will call on President Draupadi Murmu as well. Singapore is an important partner for India's Act East policy. The bilateral ties were elevated to a comprehensive strategic partnership during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Singapore in September 2024. As India and Singapore celebrate the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations, Prime Minister Wong's visit is aimed at further strengthening the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two nations. And Health Minister J.P. Nadda called on Prime Minister Wong of Singapore in New Delhi on Wednesday. They discussed about strengthening relations between the BJP and Singapore's People's Action Party. Minister Nadda highlighted the BJP's ideology, its organizational model and its role in driving India's development journey. They exchanged views on expanding collaboration in healthcare and reaffirmed their shared commitment to working together for advancing the well-being and prosperity of the peoples of the two countries. Right now, take a look at what else is making news in India. Minister of Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari chaired a consultation workshop on innovative policy interventions for sustainable national highway development in New Delhi. The workshop highlighted the government's commitment to creating world-class, sustainable and future-ready transport infrastructure with a special focus on easing congestion around rapidly growing urban areas. The Indian Armed Forces conducted integrated training with mechanized forces of Egypt, US Army, the USMC, Qatar and Cyprus, achieving interoperability and seamless coordination as part of the multilateral joint military exercise Bright Star 2025. Still to come on DD India News Hour. ChatGPT's parent company OpenAI plans to launch parental controls. An Austrian base jumper sets a new world speed record.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. ChatGPT's parent company OpenAI said that it plans to launch parental controls for its popular AI assistant within the next month. The move comes after a week after a US couple said that the system encouraged their teenage son to kill himself. In the new feature, parents will receive notifications from ChatGPT when the system detects their teen is in a moment of acute distress. The company said it had further plans to improve the safety of these chatbots over the coming 3 months, including redirecting some sensitive conversations to a reasoning model that puts more computing power into generating a response. The 13th edition of Paper Arabia has opened at the Dubai World Trade Center, West Asia's leading exhibition for the paper, packaging, tissue and non-woven industries. This year, more than 200 global exhibitors are showcasing cutting-edge technologies and sustainable solutions, with the event expanding into non-woven applications in healthcare, hygiene and automotive sectors. The three-day expo also features live machinery demonstrations, highlighting energy-efficient production, recycling innovations and alternatives to single-use plastic. A key highlight is the Middle East Paper and Tissue Forum, where experts are discussing waste management, recycling strategies and carbon reduction, underscoring commitments to net zero targets. With participation from 14 countries and visitors expected from 88 countries, Paper Arabia 2025 is set to draw nearly 15,000 attendees, reinforcing Dubai's status as a global hub for trade and sustainable innovation.
We are present here showcasing sustainable packaging products, which is a huge market. Our own facilities are available there, increasing the facilities on packaging and printing activities which are sustainable in nature, which includes various types of raw material. India has a huge positioning in this because India has lot of resources, reliable sources which can be used for sustainable packaging, printing, and it has outreach to the global industry as well. India is now a reliable partner for various countries where we actually can grow and depend on our facilities, raw material, fiber content. With technological advancement, we have got not only general sustainable raw material but also various types of fiber content which can be prepared in preparation of more sustainable, environment-friendly, long-lasting packaging materials. This is a new innovation era where these packaging materials, fiber contents are being modified to have a long shelf life for various products. Innovative designs, creativity is adding to the channels globally.
In the US, the Kilauea volcano in Hawaii erupted again on Tuesday. It's the 32nd time the volcano has released molten rock since December when the eruption began. Lava emerged from the north vent in a crater after midnight local time. Later, it was also erupting from the crater's south vent and a third vent in between. So far, all the lava from this eruption has been contained within the summit crater inside the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Kilauea is considered as one of the world's most active volcanoes. In a recent development, India's weather department has predicted that situation will likely to improve from Thursday in the states of Punjab and Haryana, while in Himachal Pradesh, light or moderate rain is expected on Thursday. The Yamuna River has reached 207.37 mark in New Delhi. More in the next report.
Amid incessant rainfall across northern part of country, India's Met Department has predicted situations are likely to improve from Thursday in Indian states of Punjab and Haryana. Although rainfall is likely to decrease from Thursday onwards, but moderate and isolated heavy rainfall is likely to continue for one more week over these areas. In Himachal Pradesh, the weather department has predicted light or moderate rain is expected in all the districts throughout the day on Thursday. In Punjab, rescue operations are underway and so far, more than 19,500 lives have been saved. While in national capital Delhi, a flood alert was issued due to continuous rainfall. The Yamuna River has crossed the danger mark. People residing in those areas were moved to safe locations.
During the last week, there have been heavy rains in the Himalayan region, and further there has been release of water from Hathani Kund barrage. Delhi too has been affected by the rains. So the cumulative effect of this has been that the water level in Yamuna has gone high and it has crossed the danger mark. As a preemptive action, because some of the population is residing in the floodplain areas, so there has been evacuation carried out by NDRF. We have deployed 5 teams since yesterday afternoon.
While in Jammu, heavy rain caused landslides and flood-like situations in the region. In view of prevailing situation, all government and private schools and colleges remained closed on Wednesday. Rising water levels in the Chenab River have blocked roads in Raisi, with authorities warning residents to stay away from riverbanks. Bureau Report, DD India.
Nestled in the picturesque hills of Bihar's Rajgir, a sports complex is playing a pivotal role in promoting sports among youths. It's putting Bihar on the sports map. DD India's Gaurav Kumar reports.
The Rajgir Sports Complex, a flagship project of Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, has emerged as a game changer for the state's youth. Established in October 2018 in the Nalanda district, this state-of-the-art facility offers training and infrastructure in 23 different sports, including hockey, football, and athletics. Spread across 90 acres, the complex has seen an investment of around Rs 750 crores. Currently, the premises are being expanded to include a sports academy, Bihar's first sports university, and an international stadium, all of which aim to nurture future sports talent from the state and beyond.
The cricket stadium is being constructed by Bihar Construction Department, BCD, and they are doing a great job and they are going to finish it soon. And it is going to be one of the international cricket stadiums. I am pretty sure many matches will happen here and Bihar will witness a big sports movement.
Medala Naukri Pao, a scheme launched by Bihar government, is definitely benefiting the students and players of Bihar. I have got my job in Bihar government in industries department through this scheme Medala Naukri Pao. Gone are the days when sports were just sports. Now it's a career option.
What sets the Rajgir Sports Complex apart is its architectural inspiration, modeled on the ancient ruins of Nalanda University. The complex features striking exposed brickwork that blends heritage with modernity.
The Bihar government has done an excellent job in developing this kind of infrastructure. Definitely, such initiatives will help Indian sports to put on global map.
Historically, athletes from Bihar face significant challenges in finding platforms to showcase their talent, especially when compared to other Indian states. But with a renewed focus from the government, things are changing. Overall, the effort is to turn sports into a movement in Bihar, and the Rajgir Sports Complex is set to play a very crucial role in that transformation.
If you need to bring medals on the international level, then you should be able to make your practice in these type of premises, and in which Bihar is setting a new phase of sports. With cameraman Saurabh Bakshi, this is Gaurav Kumar reporting from Rajgir, Bihar, DD India.
An Austrian athlete, Peter Salzmann, has broken the world speed record for a wingsuit base jump during a daring flight in Switzerland on 19th August. The Salzburg native reached a top speed of 347 kilometers per hour after around 20 seconds. He was in free fall for 35 seconds until he reached the landing point at 1,640 meters. The previous world speed record for a wingsuit base jump was 340 kilometers per hour. A tracker was integrated into his wingsuit and a radar gun was used to accurately measure all data, including speed. Salzmann worked with manufacturers on different suits for the stunt and wore a specially designed aerodynamic helmet to reach the record-breaking mark. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. We'll leave you with the rhythm and passion of Buenos Aires, where the World Tango Tournament wrapped up with thousands of artists celebrating Argentina's iconic dance. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.
Micaela García pone su nombre en la historia de Tango BA, Festival y Mundial